Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Xiong. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Due to the rising threat from its giant neighbor China, Taiwan will extend compulsory military service to 1 year from 4 months starting in 2024. China has ramped up military, diplomatic, and economic pressure on Taiwan to assert its sovereignty claims, including almost daily Chinese Air Force missions near the island over the past 3 years. China also staged war games near Taiwan in August following a visit to Taipei by U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen said Taiwan wanted peace but needed to be able to defend itself. As long as Taiwan is strong enough, it will be the home of democracy and freedom all over the world, and it will not become a battlefield. Tsai told a news conference announcing the decision. He also described that this decision was incredibly difficult. The current military system, including training reservists, is inefficient and insufficient to cope with China's rising military threat, especially if it launched a rapid attack on the island, Tsai added. Tsai also announced a series of reforms to Taiwan's military structure, including dividing forces into 4 main categories: the main combat force, garrison force, civil defense system, and the reservist system. The main combat force will be comprised of professional soldiers and takes on the responsibility of territorial security, while the garrison force will be mostly made up of conscripts and performs tasks of protecting key infrastructure inside Taiwan. Another new policy: conscripts will undergo more intense training, including shooting exercise, combat instruction used by U.S. forces, and operating more powerful weapons, including Stinger anti-craft missiles, anti-tank missiles, and drones. Conscripts will also practice first aid and life-saving skills. Conscripts will be tasked with guarding key infrastructure, enabling regular forces to respond more swiftly in the event of any attempts by China to invade. Chi Chun is a researcher at the National Policy Foundation, a Taipei-based think tank. He estimates that extension could add an extra 60,000 to 70,000 in manpower annually to the current professional force in 2027 and beyond. The current professional force is 165,000 strong. President Tsai is overseeing a broad modernization program, championing the idea of asymmetric warfare to make the island's forces more mobile, agile, and harder to attack. While the United States has pressed Taiwan to modernize its military to make it like a porcupine, agile and hard to attack, Tsai said there had been no pressure from Washington for these reforms. Opposition lawmakers criticized the reform was under pressure from the U.S. Taiwan has been gradually shifting from a conscript military to a volunteer-dominated professional force. But China's growing assertiveness as well as Russia's invasion of Ukraine have prompted debate about how to strengthen defense. Previous Taiwan governments under the governing Democratic Progressive Party and the main opposition Kuomintang cut compulsory service for men to 4 months from more than 2 years to appeal to younger voters as tensions eased between Taipei and Beijing. After the Republic of China (ROC) was defeated by communists and retreated to Taiwan in 1949, it has maintained a policy of conscription for all qualified males of military age. By 1954, the majority of conscripts served 2 years. Naval, Air Force, and Special Forces conscripts served 3 years. In 1981, all conscripts began serving for 2 years. 10 years later, the conscription period was reduced to 22 months, and alternative military service became an option. Between 2004 and 2007, 2 months were cut down from mandatory military service each year until a total of 1 year remained in 2008. In 2013, the service time was cut to 4 months. The last group of mandatory conscripts were discharged in December 2018. However, since the transition to an all-volunteer force has been unsuccessful in recruiting enough volunteer soldiers to fulfill the defensive needs, conscription still exists, technically, if unofficially. However, Western media has reported that military training in Taiwan, particularly for conscripts and the reservists, had deteriorated. By 2035, Taiwan is expected to have 20,000 fewer births per year than in 2021. Defense experts say it will limit the ability of the military in recruiting enough young men. Public debates about lengthening the conscription period increased sharply following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February, which renewed discussion about Taiwan's readiness for a potential attack by the Chinese military. The island began introducing longer training schedules for its reservists, and its defense ministry closely studied the tactics of war in Ukraine to improve battle strategy. Lin Yingyu is an assistant professor at Tam Kong University's Institute of International Affairs and Strategic Studies. He said, "In any potential battle between China and Taiwan, ground warfare will likely take place at a later stage because Chinese soldiers can only make an amphibious landing after taking control of the air and the sea. But before they land, there will likely be bombing and a blockade, and we need people to deliver goods and guide the residents to air raid shelters. So while we extend the conscription period, I think it is more important to consider how the conscripts will be incorporated into our overall defense strategy and ensure their training is effective in achieving those objectives." A White House spokesperson welcomed Taiwan's announcement in a statement to the U.S. media, saying it underscored Taiwan's commitment to self-defense and strengthens deterrence. The spokesperson said the United States will continue to assist Taiwan in maintaining a sufficient self-defense capability in line with our commitments under the Taiwan Relation Act and our One China policy. Before Christmas, President Joe Biden signed the $858 billion defense bill into law. It includes about $45 billion more than Biden had requested as lawmakers look to offset inflation and boost the U.S. military competitiveness with China and Russia. In the Indo-Pacific region, the legislation authorizes increased security cooperation with Taiwan and requires expanded cooperation with India on emerging defense technologies, readiness, and logistics. A Taiwan Foreign Ministry statement thanked the U.S. Congress for showing the great importance it attaches to Taiwan-U.S. relations and strengthening Taiwan's security. The Chinese Foreign Ministry statement said the U.S. defense bill severely affects peace and stability across Taiwan Strait. Right after Christmas, Taiwan observed the largest ever Chinese Air Force incursion into the island's air defense identification zone. On Monday, December 26, Taiwan's defense ministry said that China's military sent 71 planes and 7 ships toward Taiwan in a 24-hour display of force. China expressed anger at a Taiwan-related provision in the U.S. annual defense spending bill. On Thursday, December 29, the U.S. military said a Chinese military plane 10 feet of a U.S. Air Force aircraft in a contested South China Sea the week before and forced it to take evasive maneuvers to avoid a collision in international airspace. The incident took place on December 21st. It involved a Chinese Navy J-11 fighter jet and a U.S. Air Force RC-135 aircraft. Despite tensions between the United States and China, U.S. military officials have long sought to maintain open lines of communication with their Chinese counterparts to mitigate the risk of potential flare-ups or deal with any accidents. We will see how it goes. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.